Picture this. You're at the grocery store getting everything you need for the next week. One of the items on your list is a staple, bread. You head to the bread aisle and see two loaves that look nearly identical. But one costs $2 while the other costs $8. Which one do you buy? Most people would obviously choose the $2 loaf. But without a common farming resource, all bread could very well cost $8 a loaf, or even more. This resource is herbicide. Herbicides are chemicals that play an important role in growing a healthy crop.
So the primary reason we use herbicides is to control weeds, such as broadleaf weeds and grasses, in our crop, because if we let them go and not keep them in check, they rob nutrients and moisture. They canopy over our crop, and our crop just fails to thrive, and sometimes it just fails to even come up if we don't control it. So in order to ensure yield, we must have a good clean field, and that starts with the right kind of herbicides at the right time.
However, there is also a downside to using herbicides. If the chemicals move off the field and into streams, lakes, and the water supply, they can cause environmental problems. The main goal is then to use them in a way that minimizes loss off of fields while still controlling the weeds. One of the best ways to do this is through tillage. Tillage works the ground and mixes herbicides into the soil to help keep them where they're intended to be on the field. Unfortunately, loosening the soil through tillage creates another environmental problem: erosion. Protecting the topsoil from erosion is an equally important goal to ensure we're able to farm into the future and provide food for the coming generations. The Cropping Systems and Water Quality Research Unit in Columbia, Missouri researches how to strike a balance between these competing goals. Some areas of the Midwest have particularly vulnerable soils.
So we can talk about vulnerability in a couple different ways. One is vulnerability of the cropping system and overall productivity. Another vulnerability is of water quality and how are we protecting our nearby water bodies. These vulnerable soils can have more challenges in terms of runoff as well as herbicide transport.
To learn how different management practices on these soils affect water quality, scientists collect runoff water samples from large plots and analyze them in a lab.
In this lab, we measure water quality by looking at the amount of sediment in a sample, and we also look at the amount of nutrients. We also quantify the amount of herbicides, 7 different herbicides commonly used in agriculture in the U.S.
This analysis provides valuable data on which management practices did the best job at keeping both herbicides and topsoil on the field. Researchers also actively look for ways to cut down on the need for herbicide in the first place.
So there are different ways to reduce the need for herbicide application, and that can include having cover crops that, when terminated, reduce weed pressure later during the cash crop part of the season.
Finding a balance between controlling weeds and protecting topsoil and water benefits farmers and the environment. But it doesn't stop there. Those benefits are passed on to you in the clean water you drink and in the prices you see at the grocery store.